have a little pendulum that when I was introduced, I had first been introduced to Abraham, and someone showed me this with my dog. And they held it over my dog's head with some dog food in front of him. He had developed food allergies, and I was trying to find food that he could eat. And it would turn in the yes direction if they put food in front of him that had nothing he was allergic to in it. And it would turn in the no direction when they had food in front of him that he was allergic to. Is that non-physical energy moving that pendulum? What was making that pendulum move?
Well, there are a variety of things to understand about that. If you are holding a pendulum, looking, you know what she's talking about? Looking for an answer to something that you feel confusion about.
That's actually my question, because I do that.
Then what the pendulum tells you is what you believe.
Okay.
Because the pendulum is responding and you are affecting it even though you don't know you are, because it's happening at an unconscious level. And this is really a nice discussion to begin the day with, because law of attraction is responding to what you believe too, and the pendulum is responding to law of attraction.
Okay.
So if you want to know what you believe, you could play it like that. We wouldn't, for this reason. If we were standing in your physical shoes and creating, we would not be working so hard to figure out what we believe in that way. We would be wanting to identify our desire and line up with it, because modifying beliefs is part of what deliberate creating is. You follow that? Many would say, well, isn't knowing what I believe the first step before I can begin modifying something? Seems logical, but it's the first step that holds you back, because as long as you're focused upon what you believe, you're practicing the vibration of what you believe, and so you're not allowing yourself to move into a new place. We feel your pain. We don't really, but we know you like to hear that. In that, you have to start somewhere. And so you must be thinking, well, I have to start somewhere, and isn't knowing where I am an important part of it? And we say, yes, certainly it is, but the relationship between what you want and who you really are, that's the gap that we want you to be aware of. And of course, there are lots of ways of going about it.
Well, when I first got it, I used it all the time, but I find now I didn't trust myself. Then, do I really feel this? How am I really feeling? And that sort of clarified it, but now I just go with my feelings more.
We want you to realize that it should not take much for you to come to realize what you believe, because it's showing up all over the place, in the sense that you're feeling it, you're feeling it, you're feeling it in scenario after scenario after scenario, and what you believe is manifesting all around you. In other words, this can't be hard. What you think and what manifests is what you believe. And sometimes it's hard for people to hear that. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. A belief is just a habit of thought. And a habit of thought, think about what we said yesterday, a habit of thought has quite a bit of momentum going. So beliefs are thoughts that have a lot of momentum going, and when they have a lot of momentum going, they have more attraction power going, and when they have more attraction power going, then they have more manifestational power going, and so you get what you believe. Esther argued with us in the beginning. She would say, but it's true. It's true. I think I should talk about this because it is true. And we explained many times that there are many things that are true that you don't want active in your vibration, and many things that are true that you do want active in your vibration. So why not be a selective sifter and care about how you feel, so that you're activating the things that you want, because you have complete control over your point of attraction. And conversations like this help you to realize that you don't really know that you have complete control over your point of attraction. It's sort of like what's meant to be or what's coming. And we say, really? What's meant to be is what you're offering vibrationally, and you have control over that. I know, but what's meant to be? What's meant to be is what you predominantly are thinking about. I know, but what's meant to be? What's meant to be are the thoughts that you keep thinking about. What's meant to be is the vibration that you continue to offer. What's meant to be, or what is going to be, or what is being, is about what you're offering vibrationally. I know, but I think I should ask the pendulum. I think I should have to ask the pendulum. And do you ever hold the pendulum and hope that it doesn't tell you what you know it's going to tell you? You know what it's going to say.
I never did that.
You know it. So you just wad it up and put it in your pocket. Never mind. I'll wait until you're smarter.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like, please go. So yeah, I sort of had that feeling that it was me more than.
But hear this. The reason that sometimes that gave you guidance that was beneficial is because since it is responding to what your point of attraction is, and since it is responding to what you believe, you are intuitive. In many cases, you were right on. You were already sensing what the dog was doing well on and what the dog was not doing well on. In other words, the dog is projecting that too. You are much more in communication with each other and with the animals than you are giving yourself credit. You are psychopathic.
Well,
that too.
Well, with my dog, because I wasn't doing it with my dog. The woman who was selling the dog food was doing it with the dog, and she didn't know what he was allergic to. I hadn't shown her the little report.
No, but she knew what she wanted you to buy.
Well,
and she knew what she had experience with before, and she had been down that road before.
Okay.
In other words, she had an opinion, and her opinion was influencing the pendulum.
Okay.
And that's not a bad thing. Everyone's opinion is influencing everything. Your opinion is your point of view. Your point of view is what you are radiating commonly. And your point of view often is not really in sync with the words that you're offering, because quite often you're feeling something that you're not saying. And so it's really a wonderful thing when you finally just come back to the simple fact that what's manifesting around you matches what you believe. And if you don't like what's manifesting around you, then you would do well to begin the modifying of your beliefs. And the modifying of your beliefs is not treacherous as you might think it is. It's just practicing different thoughts. But it's a very tricky thing to practice a different thought in the middle of momentum of a thought, because the thought that's going is dominant. And it's not just that it's dominant because it's already manifested around you. It's dominant because that's what the trajectory is. A belief is a trajectory of thought. And there's manifestation power all around it, you see. So if you've decided that you want to develop a different belief about anything that is more to your advantage, then start first thing in the morning. Well, this is what we want you to show yourself. We want you to make lists of things that interest you, that you know for sure that you don't already have a big wad of resistance all activated within you about. So if you start with those things that are just fresh and clean and pure, and you see how quickly the universe will respond to those non-disputed vibrations, to those non-compromised vibrations, to those non-resisted vibrations. When you say, I want it, but that's a compromised vibration. When you say, I'm really good at this sometimes, but not all of the time, that's a compromised vibration. And your work as deliberate creators is to clean up your vibrations. And you do it by offering them and seeing what comes back, or seeing what comes back and deciding that you're going to change them. But you change your beliefs with attention to them. It is as simple as airtime. That's why you hear us, you heard us yesterday. We've been doing it a lot. Esther's been saying it incessantly with herself. I can say that better. I can say that better. It surprises her how much better she can say it. Sometimes she'll make a statement, write it, and she'll look at it and she can feel the offness of it. There's just a little bit of justification in it, or just a little bit of compensation in it. There's just a little bit of trying too hard in it. There's just a little too much awareness of where she is in it. There's a little too much of using this statement to try to move myself to another place where I'm not in it. You see what we're getting at? So she'll say, I can say it better. She'll write it better. Well, I can still say it better. She'll write it better. Well, I can still say it better. And finally, it clicks in to a place of non-resistance, and she can feel it when that happens, you see. So nothing wrong with anything that you're doing, just to understand. So if you want to know what you think, ask the pendulum, it'll tell you. If you're confused, it'll let you know that too. Also, we want to say to you that if you really, 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 really want something, your guidance is keener about it. If you sort of want it, your guidance is sort of like that. So if you're not sure, don't worry about it. It will get bigger. And eventually it will get big enough that you will then know. And isn't that a fun part of life? You don't need to get it exactly right. Isn't the molding what it's all about? Do you take a big wad of clay and slap it down on your table and say, oh, darn it, I hoped it would be better. I've seen sculptures that were so lovely, and I was hoping that that's what would happen when I did that. But you know, there's more to it than that. You got to think about it. You mold it until it matches the image in your mind. And that's what you do with your beliefs. You mold them until they match the desire in your vortex. That's all. Just keep talking about it till it fits.
Yeah, I love...
That was good. That was really good. That's really
that
good.
was. Yeah, what I really like is that it's like you gave me permission not to try to make it happen, to let it happen. And I love that. And I love the momentum.
We're not just giving you permission, we're begging you.
I'm starting to listen.
Just be easy about this. Don't make it hard. And we know you have some beliefs to overcome because they've convinced you that you're here to prove worthiness and that Source is superior and that you are inferior and that you're being judged by what you do. And so we know there is some unraveling to do or some replacing of beliefs to do before you can really say, really? Really? I'm here as pure positive energy and Source adores me no matter what anyway? And Source is holding no grudges, not disappointed with anything that I've lived before, but just fully focused with me here and now with support and guidance and leverage and energy to assist me in anything that I line up with. And all I've got to do is just line up with that? Really? Because that doesn't fit the picture that so many who have needed you to behave differently have convinced you of. And think about that. If someone, and most of them are not in the vortex, someone is not in the vortex and they're holding you as their object of attention and they don't feel very good and you're not behaving in a way that's making them feel any better, they're going to do a sales job that lets you know that you need to behave differently so that they can feel better. And so you begin catering to the needs or the demands of others, and in the process you lose your realization of your relationship between the Source within you. But they're fickle, aren't they? Don't you notice that what they want from you one day is different than what they want the next? And if there are two of them, they want different things. You just make yourself crazy trying to be what everybody needs you to be in order for them to feel good. And finally you reach the place that you're no good to anyone when you're all scrambled around and not in alignment with who you really are. If you want to be of value to someone, you've got to hook up with that stream that is you. And so as you make that your first order of business, then everything else falls into place.
Wow, you answered my question and I didn't even ask it.
Well, that's the point. That's the point
not
we're
out
making.
loud, I didn't.
But you never stop asking. You never stop vibrationally contributing. You never, ever stop it. You never stop it. So use your words to help yourself line up. Use your words to punctuate the things that you appreciate. Use your words to focus yourself and maybe somebody else into a place that feels good. But don't use your words to explain to someone who can't hear because they're in a different vibrational place. And don't use your words to try to straighten somebody else out, because all that does is get you out of whack. And don't use your words to try to justify or defend, because that's just practicing. By the time you're speaking words, that's a vibration that is pretty strong. There's a lot of momentum. By the time you're talking about it, you've got a lot of momentum going, you see. So if you are a really good friend and you find yourself ready to say something and you realize that and you stop, your friend will say, oh, come on, tell me. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? Say, I've decided not to say it, and I'm going to do my best to redirect it. I'm going to redirect it. I can say it better. Let me figure out how to say it better. Let me figure out how to say it better, and then I'll say it. Yeah.
That was excellent.
Yeah.